inside, don't wanna feel it. So I pour up inside my cup and I just sip till I can't feel it. I know it won't solve my problem, but I know it makes a difference.
Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm joined by the gorgeous Cass Michael, who is a beauty photographer here in London, and we are going to be discussing top fashion and beauty poses for men. So stay tuned, make sure to check everybody out. They're going to be linked in the description below, and make sure to subscribe to my channel and click the little bell button to not miss any of my future uploads. And let's get right into the video. Psst, you all know what's coming. This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Squarespace is an all-in platform that will help you make your dream website, portfolio, or an online shop become a reality. Squarespace has hundreds of beautiful templates, so you will definitely find something that suits you and your personal style. You can build a professional portfolio website in a matter of hours, and you will be able to customize it every step of the way, so it's so you that nobody can deny it's not. As we all know, social media presence is power, and with Squarespace, you'll be able to auto-post all your content to Twitter, Facebook, or Tumblr with proper tags and descriptions. Finally, Squarespace helps you with the marketing. They help you with SEO, as well as some plugins for Instagram stories and so on, as well as share buttons, so your followers can give you some juicy shoutouts on their social media. If that sounds like something you'd like to try, make sure to go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and once you're ready to go, use my code squarespace.com/Anita to receive 10% off your first purchase.
All I ever wanted was some real love. Then I iced on my heart, I watched it build up.
So as you guys know, I don't usually take a lot of male photos, but when we saw Alex on the model website, we really loved him because of his freckles. We thought that he just looks great and his face is just so beautiful, and we just really wanted to take photos with him. And as I mentioned, Cass does more of beauty photography and I do more fashion and swimwear, so we thought that it would be kind of interesting to combine our forces and do both. And when we did the photo shoot, we decided to go for a rooftop, and we wanted to get a sheet and just do like a backdrop studio setup in there instead. And I have to say it was a great idea. However, one thing that we didn't take into consideration is the fact that it was incredibly windy, and setting up a sheet on a backdrop stand just made it like a big parachute, so it was absolutely impossible to keep it together. Because it was so hard to keep the sheet together and it was just floating around everywhere, we created these really cool ripples where the sheet just kind of wrapped around Alex, and it just created really nice textures and movement in the photos. So what we basically did is we set up the sheet on the little backdrop stands that were not super expensive either. I think they were in Amazon for like $30, so you can't really expect much. These things are not very sturdy to start with. So I had poor Cass hold onto it with dear life, and I mean it. She was really holding on. It was digging into her, it was falling on top of her. It was a challenge, but we made it happen. And I was taking photos, just kind of trying to get the sheet to kind of wrap around my model in a nice way. We also had them sitting on a stool because it's just a bit easier for the height of the background and so on. So we worked it to our advantage, and I think it created some really awesome looking photos. One thing that you have to consider when taking photos as well is the light that you're going to use. It's going to affect a lot of your image and how it looks and so on. So it's very important that you pick something that works for your model and their features. For example, here you have a good idea of how it looks backlit versus direct sunlight, as you see on these photo examples. So in the first part, we took some backlit photos, and it was super neutral and the model was very evenly lit, and it was a nice photo, but it just didn't have the wow factor. And then when you turn around and you shoot with direct sunlight, it's way more punchy, it's way more contrasty, his features are way more defined and so on.
I shouldn't be standing with a heart that's so heavy. I
shouldn't be up with.
When it comes to posing, I always find it really important for my model to just feel very relaxed, slightly slouchy. I find whenever I shoot with male models, I never want them to look super stiff, super uncomfortable, because it is kind of hard with guys, and sometimes they do tend to look a bit more uncomfortable in front of the camera. Obviously with Alex it wasn't really the case. He had a really amazing expressive face, and he knew how to move, but it's not always the case with everyone, so that's one thing for sure. I usually get my models to sit on a chair or just sit on something because it just makes it easier. It makes it easier for them to angle their body and so on. So as you see in a lot of these shots, we had a lot of angles in his body. He was leaning his body towards his leg. He was resting his elbow on his knee and so on. And it creates really nice angles that just add so much more spice to the image. Another good thing to do is to get your model to walk around, to just move with the space. Maybe put him against something like a wall where he can lean. Maybe he can, go around in circles, just kind of like throw his arms around a tiny bit. It sounds very silly, but it does work. It gets them out of their head, and it just helps them relax a tiny bit, and it makes the photos better. All the photos in today's video were edited using my Tulum preset pack. I released them recently, so make sure to check them out. As you see here, I just do some slight adjustment to number 3 to just get a bit more shadows back into the image. I bring back the shadows and the blacks a tiny bit. I adjust the exposure, I put it up a tiny bit, and then I add some dehaze just to give that image a bit more of a punchy look. But overall, this is the little before and after. This is how the image looks. I think it looks pretty solid. There's a huge difference in colors, and there's very little work involved. So if you do want to check it out, make sure to go to my website, anitasadowska.eu, and check them out there. You can also find the discount code down below.
Awesome. That's cool.
Hey everyone, it's Cass here. Photographing men is not really something that I do that often, but as soon as I saw Alex's freckles, I knew that he was someone that I needed to photograph. I absolutely love photographing freckled faces.
I'm gonna get a little bit closer. Yeah, that's really cool. Put your chin up a little bit more. Yeah, perfect. And tilt your head away from the camera a little bit.
For this shot, I used my 5D Mark IV and my 100mm macro lens at f10 with 125 shutter speed. I bounced a Bear Godox SK402 off a plain white wall and used a reflector underneath his chin for a really nice even light. I've also added another image that I shot on the rooftop outside. It still has a subtle beauty style to it. This image was edited with one of Anita's amazing presets, which I really just think gives the image and the freckles so much extra depth.
There's one thing that I always do regardless if it's female or male models. I always use some body oil to just make them a bit more shiny. I think because Alex wasn't wearing a shirt, it was appropriate because some of his skin was showing and I wanted it to be nice and glowy. You don't want them to be super greasy and oily and so on, but a tiny bit of glow looks really nice. So as always, I used my Oars olive oil spray. It's not a cooking oil, it's a hair oil. I have it linked down below so you can check it out on Amazon. Okay guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope you enjoyed the little tips and tricks. Thank you so much, Cass, for doing this video with me and Alex, our lovely model. They're all going to be linked in the description below, so make sure to check them out. And if you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next time.
Shouldn't be standing with a heart that's so heavy. I shouldn't be up with all the weight that I carry. Don't know if it's right, but I'm sticking with you. You're my only vice, I'm dependent on you.